I want to come home. I want to come home. I want to forget how cold it's been all these days without you and find arms more familiar than my own. I want to create more reasons to not pretend anymore and contend I don't actually need you because everything inside says I have more recipes to feed you, more stories to speak true. And I can't help but bleed through this heart that beats me when I'm coming home to you. I want to come home. I want to tell you too many times, ain't nothing more beautiful in life than to know and view the strength of your kindness. To witness forgiveness more apparent than litmus, the itness of you never surrendering to being anything but you. That I put such faith into. People loving graciously, voraciously, and audaciously before I ever precociously as a child set out in search of you. And the weaker heart has always been my own. Failing more often in the face of opposition and distracting attraction, the contradiction of conviction that has too long played my best friend, providing less answers to my question of top 10 reasons why I'm not with you now. And I realize continental drift can't be my scapegoat anymore. And what separates us has little or nothing to do with proximity as it has to do with the constant shifting of perspectives, the directives I receive from fear. And it corrupts me. Absolutely. And the time it takes for your words to travel and heal me leaves me wounded and weak to feel free in a country who boasts we should be. It only slightly loosens the noose on oak trees when our pockets are filled with rocks. When we spend more time downloading images of pussies and cocks because I swear we punch in and punch out like slaves to clocks and all I want to do is come home and apologize for not being there sooner. Because the only freedom I want to fight for is the right to say I love you for the rest of my life. And if the presence of your hand is contingent upon a plane ticket and a willingness to believe, then I guess I know now what I have to do.
Yeah.
So this one I stole the title from Pablo Neruda. And it's called Tonight I Can Write. Like so many before us, we find ourselves amidst an outcome we cannot palate. So we rewrite fate and edit our lives in mid-stride, forcing our hearts to beat against a blank page, hoping that someone might listen, might read our plea and grant us reprieve. But words alone never seem enough to salve the resignation in our souls, so we blame our audience, our language barriers, our constricted literacy. We scrape away at contradictions with our pens and our tongues, expecting oratory asphyxiation to choke on our own profundity. But what comes out is convoluted banality. A reality heightened for its own sake, a Napoleon complex of the human experience, a game of who's got the biggest diction, and 99% of us are destined to lose. And maybe the answer is to fight no more, to write no more, to bite our collective lips and remain. But we can't. We're writers. It's all we know how to do. We've been conscripted by some sadistic prankster of the mind to transcribe every fucking thought, every ridiculous infinitesimal sliver of cerebral nonsense that crosses our imaginative paths. It's unavoidable. We have to write. But who we write for is a choice. And that choice is not always going to remain the same nor maintain a consistent level of difficulty. It's going to require we give a little bit of ourselves with every syllable, every individual stroke of ink, every tap, tap, tap of the type, because if you're a writer, there are no false words, no misdirections. I said misdirections, not missed erections. Enunciation is important. Keep in mind the minds of those you speak to, because in turn it's them you'll speak through. And they may say that writers are a broken people, self-inflicted, tortured souls searching for ways to reassemble that which they addictively tear down each day. And that might be true. But if so, that means right now I'm standing in a room filled with the strongest people I'll ever meet. And though I'm alone in this microphone, the odds are it's not my voice you're listening to. It's the one inside you.